In this lesson, we will talk about the graph editor and how we can use it to enhance our animations. Okay, so the graph editor is the next step from the regular keyframe interpolation that we've learned so far. So I want to go ahead and show you how to use the graph editor along with the camera animation that we created. So come up here to your null object and let's just turn both of those camera keyframes to easy ease. But first, I want to show you what it looks like in the graph editor so you can see the line. So I have those two keyframes highlighted. The graph editor is located right here at the top of the timeline. So go ahead and click that and you can see that as that is now, it's just creating a very hard line. So I'm going to toggle back over so that you can see these keyframe types, and with those two selected, I'm going to turn them to easy ease keyframes. So that's the keyframe that has that little look like an hourglass. Now I could go up there through the animation menu and change this, but I'm going to use a keyboard shortcut, and that's just going to be hitting the F9 key on my keyboard. So that's going to change both of those to easy ease. Now let's go back to the graph editor, and you see that now we have this nice bell curve that's been created. So I want to go ahead and watch the animation that the camera creates right here so you can see what it looks like. So now I'm going to go ahead and just hit that 0 key to watch the nulls animation and how it animates my camera. And it's going to take just a little bit longer for this type of animation just because it's interpolating a little bit differently than it did before. So if you watch this frame preview back, you see that already the animation of our camera looks much nicer. So we're slowly moving out of that first keyframe and then slowly moving into the second one. But the graph editor allows us to push those keyframes that we've created a lot further than just using the regular animation style for the keyframe. So when we change a keyframe to easy ease, it defaults to this bell curve. But I can go ahead and grab one of these anchors here, and let's say I want to make my animation much faster at the beginning but still have that ease out, and then really slow into the last part of the animation at the end. So to do that, I'll just select this key and then pull this anchor handle as far back to the left as I can. So now we have this spike in our speed graph. So now I'm going to watch a frame preview back of this, and you'll be able to see the difference that's created simply by tweaking the handle of this speed a little bit. So now that that RAM preview is finished, you can watch this animate through, and this definitely is more interesting than that animation we had in the first place. We simply have added a little bit more contrast between the way that this moves out at the end and the beginning of those keys. Now, what if I want there to be a little bit more time for this to really gradually ease into that last keyframe? I can simply grab this handle here and push this forward, and that's actually going to be pushing it forward in time. So you can see this moving along the timeline, and it's just going to happen a little bit later. So now this is closer to about 10.5 seconds than where it was before. And I can just push that down to make sure that goes all the way back down to 0. And now let's do another RAM preview to see how that changed the animation. Okay, so that RAM preview has finished up, and you can definitely see a big difference. That ease out now feels like there's lots more time for that to just gradually slow down, and you almost don't even notice when it finally comes to a stop just because of how gradual it is. So there's a lot of animations that you'll want to create that you'll need to use the speed graph for to get this kind of animation style where you really want to feel like the final key is very, very extremely eased. So in this lesson, we learned how we can use the graph editor to push our keyframe interpolation further by exaggerating the speed easing in and out of keyframes.